You just want to live a good life, one where you're happy and healthy, but that seems so complicated and confusing. Does this sound familiar? I realised this with some clarity in 2023, and I realised the world likes to make complicated that which is very simple. So I pondered on this every day pretty much for about 6 months, and this is what I've come up with. I created for myself what I've called the good life model, and I'm going to share it with you because it takes the confusion out of how to actually live a good life. So I came to the conclusion, I was thinking about this every day. Why does it seem so complicated and confusing to be happy, to live a good life? And that's because there is a lot of noise in the world. You've got the phone that's constantly giving you new information. All of your friends are telling you what's bringing them happiness, or they're presenting what's bringing them happiness, and whether or not it's bringing fulfillment is for them to decide. You don't know. They tell you that they got this new Porsche, but is it to overcompensate for some lack in their life, or is it actually what they want and it's bringing happiness? So this is what I come up with. There are only 4 things you need to be good at in life: belief, health, wealth, and relationships. Your belief is what shapes your view of the world. It's the colour of the lens through which you view the world. So you could have rose-tinted glasses. If you've got a good belief system and good mental health, everything looks rosy, everything looks nice. If you're depressed, everything's bad. Even good things start looking bad. And if you've ever experienced depression, you know this. You could, I can't think of an example, but you could have something good come into your life and it would actually be a burden to you. Somebody invites you to a fun day that you would like to go on, and you think, oh, I've got to tell them no because I don't want to go, or whatever. There's a reason why you can turn good things bad, and people that have the rose-tinted glasses can turn bad things good. They can crash their car and it ends up being a good thing. So belief, you have to know what you believe. And this brings me on to the next point that I'll cover in a minute, which is decide what you want, not what you believe you can achieve. So belief, you have to know what you believe about the world, and you need, if you're going to play this game and live this life, you need the optimal story, so if you believe in nihilism and it's all pointless, that's not a very good story to proceed with. So there's 4 things you need to be good at. Belief, you need to know what your belief is, and you need good mental health. Health, that's obvious. You need a healthy body, a vehicle to move through the world. Wealth, you need money in order to operate. It's just society, it's just how it works. And then relationships, everything you do in life you will do with other people for the most part, unless you're a proper hermit recluse. Belief, health, wealth, relationships. Everything else is irrelevant. Everything else is just a distraction. And once you know this, you can actually focus on getting these things. So pause the video and ponder on this. Think about, is there anything else other than these 4 things? It can't be that simple, right? It can't just be that. Belief. What do I believe? How do I view the world? Is it an optimistic view? Am I joyful? Am I happy? Does my belief in, do I have answers to the big questions? What happens after you die? Where did it all come from? Is there a God? And whatever your belief is it serving you? If you believe it's all a bunch of pointless matter that came from a big bang and none of it matters and your life, is irrelevant, you're going to move through the world like that. That doesn't seem like a very strong foundation. So belief. Health. What does good health actually look like to you? What do you want? Do you look at the guy on steroids in the gym and go, oh, I want to be big like him? Okay, so you want to be big and have massive muscles. But if you really think about it, there are a lot of downsides and drawbacks to being that guy. He takes steroids, so that costs money. That costs him his health in the long run. So he's got short-term health, but not longevity. Oh, so maybe I don't want massive muscles. Okay, what do I want? Well, I just want a lean, healthy physique. I just want to be healthy, have longevity. Am I mobile? Can I still pick something up off the floor when I'm 80 years old? I want good posture. So, and there's thinking about what you want, And then there's really digging deep into it. And you realise the thing that all your peers are going for is probably not it. So belief, health, wealth. Oh, do I want a Ferrari? Do I want a mansion? Well, if you have a mansion, just the cost of cutting the grass on a mansion is a lot of money. Insurance, you want a Ferrari, you can't go over certain speed bumps in a Ferrari because they're too low. So I don't want a Ferrari. So really think about what you want. And this takes a lot of time. And the way you do this is separate yourself from the world. So just the last one is relationships. What relationships do you want in your life? Are you friends with a person just because he's the cool kid? You don't actually like him, but you just hang out with him because everyone that's cool knows this guy. Jesus spent time with kind of all of the outcasts and the people that weren't cool kids, the lepers and the people that nobody really wants to associate with. So relationships, what are meaningful relationships in your life? So I've got a quick Bible verse for you. This is Mark chapter 1 verse 35. And rising very early in the morning, while it was still dark, he departed and went out to a desolate place, and there he prayed. So even Jesus needed to turn his phone off. Even Jesus needed to remove himself. He went off to a desolate place early in the morning while it's still dark, before anyone's got up, because as soon as he wakes up, his mum might say something to him that throws him off. His friend might say something. This is where the power of being alone, just you and God, you wake up before everybody else. And this is still a practice that's worthwhile today. He's not taking his phone with him. He's going on his own and he's praying. He's really asking himself questions. Well, I don't claim to know how Jesus prayed. Well, he shares how he prayed, but for us, you've got to be alone. You've got to remove yourself from the noise of the world and let God reveal to you what it is you actually want. So with the belief question, you ask yourself, what do I believe? What do I believe happens after we die? And it's what you believe, not what outside influence believes. So I listen to Alan Watts' lectures over and over on repeat. I love this guy. But I don't believe what he believes, and that's fine. He's very inspiring and he speaks about the Catholic faith, the Christian faith very well. But I don't believe his Eastern stuff anymore. I did for a time, or at least I entertained it, but it's not the truth to me. So what do you believe? Not what does Joe Rogan believe, what does that podcast you like listening to, what does your friend believe? This is where you've got to be alone. You've got to separate yourself. Early morning while it's still dark. No phone. You get the idea. So you've got these 4 categories, and then you just set goals in these areas. What do I actually want in these areas? Set up to 3 goals, and that's your whole life will be sorted. You don't need any more than that. And decide what you want, not what you think you can achieve, because you'll have all kinds of limiting beliefs about what you can actually achieve. But if you have faith in God, then it doesn't really matter what you think you can achieve. How much faith do you have in God? What do you believe that God can bring into your life? Once you've done this and you decide what you actually want, and this is going to take a long time. I've been doing this consistently. Every morning I wake up, notepad, and I just write at the top in red pen, what do I want? And then write belief, health, wealth, relationships. What do I want? And it's evolved over time, and do this every single day, and the answer will be the same for like a week at a time, and then it will change slightly. And for me, so belief, what do I want? You want a maximum of 3 goals. Mine is to be a practicing baptized Catholic. So I was baptized 2 days ago, and now I can be a practicing Catholic. I want good mental health and to be optimistic and joyful. And then I want full presence. So that's what I believe. I believe if I'm a baptized practicing Catholic who's joyful and fully present, that will bring me happiness and fulfillment. And so far it's serving me well. Health. What do I want? And be very specific. For me, a good weight for me is 163 pounds. I want to be 163 pounds with good energy, like high testosterone type symptoms. And that's pretty much it. That brings happiness for me. So you go down the list and you answer what you want. So there is tremendous power in choosing what you want and actually deciding what you believe and not being influenced by your peers and the world, because then God can present you with opportunities in these areas. If you don't know what you want, how would God know what to give you specific to you? You're just going to get like what God sees fit. But if you decide, you're going to start seeing opportunities. So if you know, for me, if I know I want to be a practicing baptized Catholic, well then I need to attend the RCIA every week so I can learn about the faith. And that's an opportunity. The fact that the priest was kind enough to do that and provide that for me is beautiful. That's an opportunity that I took up and I went and did every week. So you will start seeing opportunities. So your guardian angel, if you decide, because they know what you're thinking, they know your intentions, if you decide, you've got it written down every morning, you write this down, exactly what you want, they're going to know exactly how to give it to you, and you're going to start seeing things show up in your life. So by deciding, by actually going off in silence and figuring this out, you're equipping God and your guardian angel with valuable information to help you, and then abundance is going to enter your life. So I've got another Bible verse for you. Philippians chapter 4 verses 6 and 7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. So let your requests be known to God. If you don't know what you want because you're confused about all these influencers doing random things online and your brain is scrambled by all this information, you can't give a request to God. My request now has been the same every day for about 6 months, because for the previous year I was thinking about this every day. So every morning when you wake up, while it's still dark, while there's nobody about, that's as close as you're going to get to a desolate place. I mean, I come out to the woods to get away from society. Get your journal out, red pen at the top. What do I want? First category, belief, health, wealth, relationships. What do I want? 3 bullet points. Belief. Health, what do I want? 3 bullet points. And so on, you get the idea. Do this without even thinking about what you've got to do to get it. Do this every day for 6 months and really think, right, I want a Lamborghini, but there's a lot of drawbacks to a Lamborghini. So actually I want a Honda Jazz. Do you know what I mean? And you'll start off with a Lamborghini, and in 6 months you'll end up realizing you don't even want a car. You'd rather walk around, because if you drive too much, you're going to get bad posture and you're going to be that old dude with a hunchback. So you go, and then you realize you've already not got a car, so there's fulfillment. So once you've decided what you want, you'll realize that you're actually quite close to it. And there's a strange psychological thing that happens when you decide exactly what you want. You're already on the path to achieving it. There's a chaos and a confusion associated with not knowing, and that builds a lot of anxiety. With me, since I've decided exactly what I want, there's a calm that comes with that. The lion knows all he needs is meat. That's why they sunbathe 90% of the time, and then they go and hunt, get the meat, and then sunbathe again. He's not thinking, oh, I wonder what the Kardashians are doing. They're old now, I know. I'm not very up with like what's currently going on, but he's not worried about what the next lion's doing. He just knows he needs meat. So once you've decided this, that's like half of the burden gone already, and then opportunities will present itself. Then once you've fully decided, you can ask the question, how am I going to get it, or what do I need to do? And again, you need to be in silence, you need to be alone, because it's God that's going to tell you. So what do I want? I want to be 163 pounds. Well, maybe fast. Maybe a bit of intermittent fasting today is going to be how you get there. Oh, simple. It's been revealed to me. That's not complicated. So it's taken the confusion away from how to live a happy life. Hope that helps. Speak to you soon.